Hello and welcome. Yeah, it's November's question and answer video, and we've got some cracking questions as we always get from you guys. Hope you're well. But yeah, I'm standing right underneath Tower Bridge, which means we're going for a little Christmas walk around St Katharine Docks. Now, St Katharine Docks and their Christmas lights were switched on last week. So I thought, do you know what? It's always lovely to go walking around there, especially in the summer when the boats are going. But actually, do you know what? Let's do it at Christmas when they switch the lights on. Let's go and see what they've got on offer. Bring you the Christmas lights and the Christmas festivities there they have happening whilst answering your questions. Sound good? Excellent. And as you can see, we've got blue skies. But as you can tell from the jacket, it's gone cold. So it's very, very cold here in London. So let's give you just a brief one of the Thames. Here we go. So that's the Thames. We have Butler's Wharf over there, the beautiful sunshine, and of course Tower Bridge. We have the sundial outside the big Tower Hotel, and we've also got the cannon, which stands here on the bank of the Thames. Once upon a time, probably warding off the pirates. Nowadays, just here for ornamental purposes. Anyway, we've got the big lock here. Old street lights, and let's go over the bridge into St Katharine Docks. Now, St Katharine Docks, beautiful area. We have covered it many times before, including the operation of this lock. So when the boats come in, ships come in, and the tide is up actually, so that makes a big difference to here. But the tide is up, so if any ships come in, we'll be, or any yachts come in, we'll be sure to make sure that we cover it. But St Katharine Dock is just a lovely little part of London. Old hospital, if I remember rightly. But as you go around, you've got, oh, here we go, St Katharine by the Tower. That's very nice. Makes it look even longer, doesn't it, in the shadows. By the way, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can tell the shadows are going already. This has been put up on the occasion of the visit of the Her Majesty Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands. This plaque was presented to St Katharine Docks by TWE Flotilla to commemorate 300 years of Anglo-Dutch maritime friendship. And that is from the 29th of June, 1989. And there you go, operation of the lock. And I think, from what I can hear, because there's a humming going on, which you can probably hear in the background, I think the lock's about to come into operation. So that'll be interesting to see what goes on there. Anyway, we'll keep a tab on that as we're going round, because I can see the person who operates the lock up in the booth above. You know, probably in a nice warm room, watching the ships go on this lovely cold day. I just love that. There you go, the street lights there. Very nice, right. And we'll see, because this bridge will lift as well to let the boats in. Right, okay. Oh, let's catch some of the, there you go, in the office window. That's very nice, isn't it? Very festive. And then we'll show you St Katharine Docks. And then as we go round, we'll show you some of the boats, but in the Christmas decks that are available as well. Now this is nice. They've got a nice pontoon down here, which you can't get down onto, but they've got sofas, etc. underneath, and also table football. But then as you go around, you've got all of the yachts behind. You've also got the Dickens Inn, and we'll go past that as we walk around here and look at the Christmas lights as well, and the Christmas trees that they seem to have put up. Okay, but whilst we're doing that, we'll take some of your questions. So once again, a big thank you for the questions. You'd never fail to amaze me with some of the questions you ask, because it's stuff I've not even thought of, and I go, God, what a really good question. Didn't know about that. So let's go for the first one. So, do the streets ever freeze with ice and snow in London? If so, do they salt the streets or employ some other method to keep the streets and sidewalks clear of ice and snow? Excellent question. Thanks, Luana. Without doubt, it's climate change. London really hasn't had snow that's been here for more than an hour or two. And I think we had a little downfall last year, might be even the year before, but it certainly didn't stay that long. It stayed for about an hour or so and then disappeared. So it really doesn't get the snow like it used to from pictures of old. Now this is nice, isn't it? Here, as you go round, got this nice area here. Taking the Christmas lights in a second here, telephone box and post box there. So it certainly doesn't get the snow and the ice like it used to. It gets cold, but because it's London, and also you've got all the heat from the buildings, the offices, and it's got its own little microclimate. What's interesting is that London is normally 2 to 3 degrees warmer than it is out in the outer country, just around it. And I certainly noticed that today coming in. So just to give you an idea, when I left home out in Essex, it was 4 degrees. I got to London and it's 8. That shows you the difference it is in central London. So therefore you don't get as much frost. But if the roads are really, really cold and really, really frosty or snowy, you're right, they put salt down. So it's the salt that they do, they put that down. That's nice, isn't it, the Dickens pub? That might have to be a place we go for a meal at some point, but they've put snowflakes up. Yeah, but they use salt and they put that down. There you go. Sort of jumping around here. There you go. Right. So that's our first Christmas tree. That looks lovely. But what I've also noticed is not only have we got the lights between the lampshades that are there, but also on one of the boats they've gone festive. Look at this. So you've got baubles and a wreath all hanging, there you go, on that yacht here. All festive, so maybe that's not moving, that's not going anywhere. So we have to keep an eye on those to see if we've got any other ones that are also festively decorated. There you are. Right, so Luana, great question, thank you very much. Right, let's go on to the next one. Hi Steve, is there any botanical gardens with winter theme in London, and which are must-see flower shops in London? And that's from Irma. Irma, fantastic question, thank you. Botanic gardens, well, there has to be only one. Oh, sorry, I just noticed there's a photo shoot going on. So I'm going to get out of the way of the photo shoot because someone's just got married. Hopefully we'll capture them in just a couple of seconds as we go across. But as far as Botanic Gardens is concerned, it's Kew Gardens, which we covered in a video very recently with their winter lights, which are absolutely amazing. So I'm going to put a link to that. There you go, there's that tree again, but from the other side. I'm going to put that at the bottom, top right hand corner, where we leave this video. And the other part to it was, flower shops. Yeah, there are flower shops all around. And there's one I keep bumping into, which is just off Oxford Street. Not on Oxford Street, but just off Oxford Street. There you go, can you see that? The anchor all done up in the lights, which is lovely. And then what we'll do is we'll wait for these guys, and then we'll go across this bridge. I can't believe it. She must be absolutely freezing. There we go, we'll follow across. There we go, so that's really nice, isn't it? There you go, very picturesque. And then you've got Neil Strain, which is a florist. Now, Neil Strain florists are based out in Belgravia, but also they're down in Mayfair. Absolutely beautiful. So, well worth a visit.
Yeah, jeans and like long coats. And
yeah.
There we go, we've got that round here. And then, God, it must be absolutely frozen. Poor people, just had a photo shoot there. There you go. Right, so yeah, you've got Neil Strain and a number of florists. But the reason I mentioned Neil Strain is because they always look absolutely amazing. They always do the front up at Christmas, Halloween, etc. So, always looks gorgeous. Right, now interesting, White Mulberry's coffee shop, which we've done a tasting in before. They've got mulled wine here, like gastro cocktails and lounge, very low, very, very low ceiling. Boy, they're all done up for Christmas, which is good. And then you've got all the boats, all the rest of it around here. Oh. And we have St Katharine's Docks Cafe, which might be one to go and try for a bit of a coffee tasting later. Anyway, right, fine, so just thinking aloud for future production. Right, what we'll also do, what we're trying to capture in this video is just the beauty of St Katharine Docks, because it's just one of those places many people don't come to. So anyway, yeah, there are florists all around, love featuring them. And of course, when the flowers come out in the parks, they are absolutely beautiful as well. Right. Okay, let's keep going round and let's take another one of your questions. So Irma, thank you very much for that one. There we go. Got some more lights coming across. Oh, I can see some further decorations as well, so we'll grab those. Right, Michelle says, do you ever give in-person tours of London or perhaps lead a tour group? What a great question. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, here we go. Before we go for that, all lit up. Here we go. Some yachts for sailing. And this is down by the Gloriana, which is down here, which we featured in a video this year. That's nice, isn't it? Bit of neon there, which is lovely. Just remind you, that's the Gloriana, which was the ship used for the Queen's Golden Jubilee, which sits here. It still looks amazing. The effort they must go into cleaning that is incredible. Right, Michelle, here we go. Let's just capture the lights up here and around here. So, in answer to your question, Michelle, and we're going to head back round this way. So yes, I do, but it's a sort of yes and no. So do I do or lead guided tours? Not really, but what I do is I try and coordinate my diary for those that are coming to London who are members of London Visited with the channel, either on Patreon or on YouTube. And if we can, I then spend a bit of time with those people, go around London, show some of the sights of London, maybe not capture before, sort of work out half a day or a day's itinerary or whatever, and we just go around. Don't charge for it. I just see that as a sort of additional perk for being a member here, and it's always subject to, can we get the diaries coordinated, and if the diaries coordinate, then it's just one of those things that sort of falls into the lap and off we go, which also includes coffee tasting, etc. as well. And I've done that with a few of our members so far, and some people that came out over Christmas or before Christmas, which sometimes you see featured in our videos. So that's another bit of it. They can't often get caught in the videos as well. I always get permission, but I don't do guided tours. And it's one of the things I've thought of. But do you know what? I enjoy doing London so much and covering London that you're not quite sure what people are looking for. And whilst I could show people around and give people bits of history and bits of London, etc., it's one of those things I thought, the organisation and everything else that could go into it, whereas if you do it more informally, it doesn't feel that way. There you go. So great question. Thank you, Michelle. Gave me a chance as well just to talk about the membership part of London Visited. We've got all different tiers. So if you fancy having a look, you can go to patreon.com/London Visited, or you can just hit the join button at the side, just underneath the video now. And if you click on that, that'll tell you more about the benefits and the different price tiers. There you go. Right. As we're having a look across one of the different docks, got the Gloriana again over there, and then sneaking between the buildings over in the corner there, you've got the Tower of London. Right, next question. Luana says, with the seasonal tide rolling in and out, does that affect the boats at all? Oh, it's rather opportune that we're here, doesn't it? Does that affect the boats at all? Do they allow fewer boats upon the river at different tidal seasons? And that's from Luana. So, great question. The river is really, really wide, and everything in central London or in London is built around the tide going in and out. So interestingly, whilst you're looking at these boats here at their height, when the tide goes out, let's go around here. When the tide goes out, the whole dock area here, for instance, and it is down by the side of the Thames, is sort of deep enough to take it for that fall, and everything just sort of drops. Now, these pontoons that you can see by the side are actually on wheels. So they're in place and they stay in place, but they've got wheels by the wall which actually guide them up and down as the tide goes in and out, so the boats go up and down with it as well. Which I must admit, until I started looking, not that long ago, I didn't realise myself. So there you go. So it sort of adjusts. So there isn't a restriction on the boats at all. Or on the traffic, but everything is sort of built round the tide. And of course, when we showed you that video, which was a members only video, which will come out to everyone else in a few months' time, where the tide's gone out and we've gone down by the foreshore, you can actually see the difference down there massively between the high and the low tide, because when it comes to low tide, you can see the high tide marks on the wall. If I remember right, it's probably about a 6 metre difference, which is very big. Okay, next. Michelle asks, what are the best bread and breakfast places in London? Do you know what? There's loads of B&Bs. Most of them are on the outskirts, not necessarily in central London. If you're coming to central London, it's not going to be a B&B, it's going to be sort of a hotel and do that. Most of the others, well, you're probably looking the Circle Line and out as a guide there. So if you look at the tube map and where the Circle Line is, you're going to find them on the Circle Line and out further. I do not know of any really good ones. But if I tell you what, next time I stay in London, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a B&B, Michelle, and then film it. Because, hey, let's have a look. And I know there's a fellow YouTuber, and I know a lot of you watch her, which is Hannah. And she is currently doing all the posh hotels in London. Very posh hotels. In fact, it's costing you an absolute fortune. Hannah Ricketts. And I know a lot of you watch her anyway, but actually I'll probably do the other end. I'll probably do the cheaper B&Bs, but also look for the good value B&Bs where actually it's quite comfortable as well. So that gives me an idea for a future series or future part within. So thank you, Michelle. Wonderful contribution, I really appreciate it. Right, Luana says, here's a good one. Where do they store all these Christmas street lights during the year? Same with the London parks and Christmas decorations. Do you know what? That's a really, really good question. Most of them get stored off-site. They get put in storage facilities well outside London because they're cheaper. Let's go for a little walk. Well outside London because they're cheaper. Same for the lights in the parks, etc. The ones that we've already shown in Kew Gardens are owned by different companies. And they come in and put their own lights in, put their own displays on. And when they put their own displays on, they're actually producing the lights and storing the lights, etc. So it's storage facilities well outside, especially when you look at, well, things like Selfridges. And if you just think about those massive glitter balls going up the elevator and the displays that they have coming in, which will have been made for them. But some of the lights on the outsides, and especially in the parks and various other bits, if they're theirs, they will be in storage facilities, held in storage facilities outside London and then bought in. That's stuff that's not made specially. But it's a good question, what then happens to them after even? And are they then reused and recycled somewhere? Which is quite interesting because if you watch the Kew Gardens one, you'll remember I recognise the light that we saw at Battersea either last year or the year before, which they put at Kew Gardens. So a good one on a recycle there. Right, here we go. We have another Christmas tree over in the far corner here. This is very nice with its lanterns on. By the way, guys, thank you so much for your questions. If you have any questions, we have got more to come, but if you have any questions, anything you want answered on London, then do drop them in the comments down below, and I'm going to save it for the one just before New Year. So there you go. Right, there you go. Lovely tree here, Katharine Docks. And then let's go for a little stroll round. We're going to go down here. Now, once again, this pontoon changes as well, because as the tide changes, we'll let these noisy people come past us, as the tide changes, this goes up and down, so sometimes that will be quite flat. There, let's just swing around here, and then you've got the Christmas tree that's over there, and the restaurants around here. So it's a good little place, I love it here. But so many people don't come down here because you've got the Tower of London and Tower Bridge, which of course attracts so many millions of people. Understandably, they want to see the icons. But this is, well, around the corner. So it's lovely to come down here and come and have a look. Right, next one. Michelle says, Luana says, what do modern English families put on the Christmas table to feast upon? What a great question. And one, when I saw it come through, started making me feel very, very hungry. So thanks, Luana. So let's go for a traditional Christmas dinner. It's got to be the turkey. and I'm going for a traditional here, all right? So I know there's going to be vegetarian and people who don't like turkey, etc. But definitely, let some more people go past because they're noisily talking behind, so you can hear me quite easily. But definitely turkey with all of the trimmings, which will also include Brussels sprouts and carrots and other veg. Also Yorkshire puddings, pigs in blankets, which are basically little sausages wrapped in bacon, roast potatoes, all along with gravy. I don't think I've missed anything out on there, so that's the main meal. And then of course for pudding, it has to be Christmas pudding with either custard, the traditional way, or brandy butter, or cream, or a mixture of any one of those with anything else.
I've never understood.
Or, in some cases, all three. Yeah, which is why I think Christmas afternoon and evening is normally a blowout. Because you're having that Christmas lunch, you don't really want to move again. So there you go, that's the traditional, and then you've got tea in the evening with all the mince pies and everything left over, and of course you've got the Christmas turkey, which you're eating for the next week or so. Well, it doesn't seem to be quite the case these days, but I must admit I do like my cold turkey sandwiches. Yum, 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 yum. Right, lovely question, thank you, Luana. Right, let's see how we're doing. How far are we in? God, 21 minutes in already. Right, it's got a bit dark because we're now quite low. Got office buildings, etc. up there. That is the old Tower Hotel. Can't remember what they call it these days, but that's where the Tower Hotel is. So that's great if you want views, and you've got a room with a view that overlooks Tower Bridge, which is fantastic. So, Art Nurseries. Do you know what? I think we're there. Oh, here we go. We do have one more, which is a rather good one. Right, they've all been good. And this comes from Lisa, and this is from Lisa Puller. And Lisa says, do you have any nursery plant nurseries in London, Steve? You're lucky to find some in Australia now. We have a big hardware chain that took over, and it's not the same over there. So, the answer to that one is yes, we do. Let me tell you a bit more in a second. There you go, you've got that here. That's really nice. That's been put as an entranceway into St Katharine Docks. Lovely garden there, right around with the steering. Love it. Okay, so back to the question, do we have any nurseries? Yeah, we do. They're not in central London, they're more outside. And actually, I remember visiting one when I did the Muswell Hill video. So they're sort of all scattered around the outskirts of London, or the outskirts of central London. Here we go, we've got one of those again. But this is on a big post. And that's St Katharine by the Tower again. Same as that one earlier, so that's good. Right, let's cut round. I'll tell you why, because I saw something earlier and I thought, do you know what, we're going to finish the video over there. So yeah, there are nurseries all around. Actually, as you go outside of London more, there's loads and loads of nurseries. In fact, where I live, there's about 3 different nurseries within a 5-minute drive of where I am. So yeah, so there's certainly nurseries all around, which is lovely. It's a real chance. Right, let me just give you a quick guide down here. So Lisa, thank you very much. Great question. And then as we go round to the Tower Hotel, have a good day. We've got not only the Tower Bridge, but we've also got something around here actually. Here we are. So we've got a bar area outside here, which must be part of the Tower Hotel, but anyway, anyone can go in there. So you've got that, sort of cabin. But then I noticed this as you go round, they've put down here, down by the river. So that's where we started, just further down by the sundial. But then down here, they've actually put some huts, selling bits, which are lovely, but they've done it in a style of old Tudor, which is good. Right, first of all, you can probably hear the running water, the mermaid, which is lovely. This is a nice little place actually, little tucked away, not many stalls, So I'm guessing it's going to be very, very busy. But then as you go down, you've got, there you go, hats, and you've got all your normal stuff that you get in your markets, but it's sort of tucked away. There you go. But look, it's done in a sort of Tudor style. So clothes, socks, scarves. So if you're going to be cold, then certainly come down here. That's all. Very tired. And then plenty of sweets, bits and pieces there. Personalised decoration. So basically it's the stuff that you've seen before in all of the other places. We've got fish and chips, if you want those, with pies, etc. Hot chocolate. Now this one I haven't seen, roasted chestnuts. I love roasted chestnuts, might have to come back there. And they're lovely. If you've not had roasted chestnuts, lovely and sweet. So you've got those there. Sausage grill. I thought I could smell them. Yes, the distinctive smell of Cheerios and tipple at the tower. So mulled wine, cocktails and various other bits and pieces there. But then you've got the bridge right underneath. So a little one to do. But then look at that. So if you fancy a Victorian Christmas village and you want your photos taken, there you go. Very nice, with poinsettias as well. Isn't that lovely? Didn't know that was down here. So there you go, a little bit of a bonus. And then if it's raining, you've got somewhere you can dive under, put your drink on, put your food on, and balance life. And then you've also got this view right underneath Tower Bridge. Lovely. Right. Now, please watch your step from the other side. There you go. Giving the game away. Which is lovely. Right. So what do you think of that? It's nice to discover stuff, isn't it? I must admit, I didn't know this market was down here, but it's lovely, lovely little place. In fact, so much so that for me, I'd come down here, not go to the little market on the south bank down by the London Eye, because it's much, much nicer. So I'd certainly come down here more for that one. So I really hope you enjoyed that. One of the questions earlier was about Botanic Gardens, which Irma, I know you asked. So I'm going to put a link to that video up in the top right-hand corner. And that is of our visit to Kew Gardens this year for their Christmas lights, which were absolutely sensational. No doubt about it. And I'll leave you with these huts here underneath Tower Bridge. Take care. Catch you in the next video. Bye.